Imagine walking into your own bedroom, only to find your husband in bed with someone else. For Sarah, this nightmare turned into a courtroom battle. But no one expected the brutal way the judge would end it all. Sarah and Daniel had been married for 7 years. To their neighbors, friends, and even family, they looked like the perfect couple. A loving marriage, a beautiful home, and a 6-year-old son who was the center of their world. But behind the smiles and holiday pictures, cracks were beginning to show. One evening, Sarah's world collapsed when she returned home earlier than expected. As she stepped into the bedroom, she froze. There, in her own bed, was Daniel, with her best friend. The betrayal was so deep, it felt like the ground had been ripped away beneath her feet. Shattered and furious, Sarah wasted no time. She filed for divorce, demanding full custody of their child and financial support for the years she had sacrificed to build the marriage. Daniel, however, denied everything. He accused Sarah of exaggerating, claiming she was using lies to steal his money, his home, and even his son. What followed was not just a divorce case. It was a war inside the courtroom. The courtroom was packed, tension so heavy you could almost feel it in the air. Sarah sat on one side of the bench, her hands trembling but her eyes filled with determination. On the other side, Daniel leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, projecting confidence as if nothing could shake him. Sarah's lawyer was the first to speak. He presented a series of photographs, grainy but undeniable. Pictures of Daniel and Sarah's best friend together at a hotel, hand in hand, entering late at night. Gasps rippled through the room. Next came the text messages, dozens of them, filled with words of affection, sneaky meet-up plans, and confessions Daniel had sent to the very woman sitting behind him. Sarah broke down in tears as the evidence was read aloud, her voice shaking as she told the court how she had sacrificed her career to raise their child, while Daniel betrayed her trust. But Daniel wasn't ready to give in. When his turn came, he raised his voice, accusing Sarah of being a negligent mother. He claimed she often left their son with babysitters, that she was more focused on her social life than her marriage. His words were sharp, almost cruel, and, for a moment, it looked like he might sway the courtroom. That is, until the witness was called. Sarah's former best friend. The entire room fell silent as she walked toward the stand, avoiding Sarah's tearful eyes. At first, she hesitated, her voice barely above a whisper. But under oath, the truth spilled out. She admitted the affair. She admitted that Daniel had promised to leave Sarah, that their relationship had been going on for months. The silence that followed was deafening. Daniel's face turned pale, his earlier arrogance melting into anger and desperation. He slammed his fist on the table, shouting that it was all lies, that he was being set up. The judge quickly ordered him to control himself. The tension in the courtroom was unbearable. Sarah sobbed quietly, her world torn apart, but her truth finally vindicated. Daniel sat in stunned silence, his reputation in ruins. The judge leaned forward, eyes sharp, asking both sides pointed questions. About their child, about their marriage, about the trust that had been shattered beyond repair. Both Sarah and Daniel, once partners in love, now stood exposed, their private war laid bare for the world to see. The courtroom fell into a heavy silence as the judge adjusted his glasses and looked directly at Daniel. His voice was calm, but every word struck like a hammer. "Mr. Daniel," the judge began, "this court has reviewed all evidence, photographs, messages, testimonies, and even today, under oath, you chose arrogance over truth. You betrayed not only your wife but also the sanctity of your family." Daniel shifted uneasily in his seat, but the judge's gaze never wavered. "To Mrs. Sarah, this court acknowledges the pain you have endured. You sacrificed your career and personal life to raise your child, only to be repaid with lies and betrayal. The law may not heal your heart, but it can deliver justice." The verdict was clear and merciless. The divorce was granted. Sarah would have primary custody of their son. Daniel was ordered to pay monthly alimony, full child support, and all legal costs of the case. Then came the brutal blow. The judge leaned forward and, in a scathing tone, declared, "Marriage is built on trust. You destroyed that trust and then stood here, lying under oath, hoping this court would believe you. Let this judgment be a reminder. Betrayal has consequences. The courtroom froze. Sarah wept silently, clutching her lawyer's hand. Daniel stared at the floor, his arrogance gone, replaced with the crushing weight of defeat. For a long moment, no one moved. The silence was louder than any words. The case was over, and justice had been served, and just like that, the gavel came down, ending a marriage built on lies and betrayal. Sarah walked out of the courtroom with her dignity intact, and her child's future secured. Daniel, once confident and untouchable, was left with nothing but shame and the heavy burden of his actions. This case reminds us of one harsh truth. Betrayal may be done in secret, but justice is always delivered in the open. But now, I want to hear from you. Do you think the judge's verdict was fair? Should Daniel have lost custody, or did he get exactly what he deserved? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want more shocking real-life cases like this one, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the bell, because the next story might just shock you even more.